Hi, this is Diana from the Capawesome team, and today I want to record a video to show you how to create automations to trigger builds depending on specific Git actions. For example, when you push a commit to a specific branch or when you create a tag. We can also include specific configurations for these builds, like the signing certificates or the selected environment. Let's see how to do it. We will be following the documentation from Capawesome website. For the first example, I want to create an automation that every time I push a commit to the main branch, a new iOS build is triggered. So let's create the automation for this. For the name, this has to be descriptive, so iOS build, iOS web build on main commit on push to main. Platform iOS, trigger type, branch, and the pattern is main because I want this to trigger only when we push to main. This is optional and you can use it to only trigger the builds if the commit message has a specific text. For example, you could use the text native build or live update or whatever you want. Here you can select the build type. For this case, we will select development. So this means we will create a development build for iOS. Here you can select the environment. We created another video about environments. So make sure you check that video if you are not familiar with this. And here you can select the certificates related to this environment. All of this is optional. And here, if you want, you can also check this to deploy the build after successfully completed. So let's create this automation. And now to test it, I have my repo here. Oh, something very important to mention, in order to use automations, you need to, of course, connect your Git provider. Here I have GitHub connected, and I have also this repository connected, the one I'm using for all the videos. So let's go to my repo. I already created 2 pull requests. Let's go with this one. So in this pull request, I want to merge this branch into main. So this should trigger a new build from the automation we have just created. So let's merge this and see if this works. Let's go back to automations, go inside, and yeah, cool. This is the new build that has just started. As you can see, it's using the configurations we set in the automation, development environment, and the signing certificate. So this is working and it's cool. Now, I also want to show you how you could skip this. Imagine that, for example, you only want to commit a change in your README and you don't need to deploy, like to build an iOS build just for this. So there is a flag that you can use. Let's go to the documentation to see this, but it's here, skipping automations. You can skip automation for a specific push by including one of the following keywords in the head commit message. So something around this. So if your message has skip CI, the automation will not run. Let's see how this works. So for example, here I have another pull request where I just modified a README. So I will add this in the message. Let's add this. So this should not trigger the automation. Let's see how it works. If we go to automations, cool. Let's refresh just in case. You can see the build was not triggered. So that's useful to know because you not always want to trigger a build. So that's all for automations. Of course, you can create different automations for your different platforms and your different environments. There are different recipes that you can follow, just like, I mean, for development, for testing, for production. You could even have all your production workflow created in the automation, like create the iOS and Android binaries, then deploy them directly. If you select here, this deploy, and here you select the destination. I don't have them set up here, but you can select the App Store destination. So a new deploy will go directly to the App Store only by using this automation. So this is very powerful and can save you lots of times to you and your team. So make sure to check it out. If you have any question, if you need help creating your automations, please let us know. We would love to help you. Bye.